What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, the Tuesday Night Delight, hosting today on a Saturday, Wrestling Republic podcast. We here for the daily, and we are here to review last night's Friday night SmackDown. We had a wonderful show. We saw a lot of progressions going on during the show. It's Rumble season. Royal Rumble is next week. Had a title match, all that jazz, man. We're going to get into it, but I can't do this by myself. I have a prestige unit with me today. I've never done a show with these guys with me hosting, so I'm very excited for it. We're going to pass it out overseas, man, to my mans who always got the nice suits on. What's good, brother?
Oh, come on, Shad. I really appreciate it. And obviously, you're hosting because apparently everyone killed themselves yesterday, with all the topic going on and all the discussion. So we're all that's left. We're the skeleton crew, as we say. So, yes, let's see how this goes. And hopefully, the guys will be reborn again for the next show. So, yeah, things will be fun. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, man. Nah, if you haven't watched yesterday's episode, I highly recommend that you guys do. It was a very entertaining episode, man. Let's just say Mr. Tony Khan and his decisions as a booker gets the people rallied up, man. But I can't not also introduce, last but not least, my brother out in the good old state of New Jersey. I know he repping that. We ain't gonna talk about the other state. What's good with you, bro?
Everything's good, Shoddy. Hopes everything's good. Hope everyone's having a great Saturday. Great SmackDown to talk about. Like we said, they were talking about Turtles on yesterday's show, so I would hope everyone would tune in to yesterday Turtles wrestling, actually. So today's going to be a really fun show. I'm happy that Shoddy's going to be and Soul is going to be with me on it, and I'm excited to get into it.
All right, man. Let's get into it. So let's not waste any time. We got to talk about what was the marquee thing going on yesterday, and that is something that we love that WWE does. Good old contract signings. Yeah, we had a contract signing for this main event that is happening at the Royal Rumble. Your tribal chief, Mr. Roman Reigns, will be defending not against one, not against two, but three other competitors. LA Knight, yeah, AJ Styles and Randy Orton. This was a pretty fun little contract signing. You got to see the back and forth banter between everyone. And you got to see Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman trying to play Jedi mind tricks with Mr. Nick Aldis, trying to tell him that Roman Reigns is not going to sign this contract. This is something that is not going to work for him. He is the tribal chief. But something I've really enjoyed about Nick Aldis, and I know Ben mentioned it on the Twitter yesterday, Nick Aldis is not afraid of Roman Reigns. He's taking his authoritarian figure gimmick very well, and he's standing his ground on it. And he says your man's is gonna have to defend that title. If not, he's gonna get that title vacated, and these three gentlemen are going to fight for that at the Rumble. I enjoyed it all, but I'm gonna pass it to you first. So I'm gonna pass it to you first, Brett. What did you feel about the contract signing as a whole?
Damn, swerving, man. Come on.
I thought it was really interesting dynamic between the four because Heyman was out there, and then when obviously things got a little heated in the ring, Knight and Styles took it outside of the ring and were kind of battering each other up, and it was Orton's chance to almost have his last say or the last word for Heyman. And I thought that was genius, to be honest with you, building up to the main event, not only the main event for last night, but only for Royal Rumble as well. So I do think it was a great buildup. I thought it was a great dynamic between the four of them, showing that they all have differences with each other because in past few weeks, we've only gotten them on the same team. So, and the only difference that they've had with each other is that they all hate the bloodline. This week, we got a few different reasons on why they're going after them and why they're going after the title. And I believe that they all came off in a strong manner on television, and it is going to relate towards the Rumble. And I think it's going to be a great match. I do think Roman still comes out on top.
For sure. I will say this, and we'll talk about that main event section obviously at the end of the day. Randy's definitely these last few weeks looked like the strong suit going into this match. He feels a lot more different than the other competitors, and I like it a lot because obviously we haven't had an opportunity to have Randy on our screens for a little while. It's pleasant to see him back and being in a different, character that we're more used to. I wasn't the biggest fan of the whole RK Bro stuff. Thought it was a little silly. It's not to a T of what he is as a character. And yeah, man, it was great. Got a couple comments in here. First, let me go to Instagram, and I want to see what y'all got to think about this. My man Charlie Esperanza says Nick Aldis, Roman Reigns backlash in Berlin. What do y'all feel about that?
You go first, Soul.
I will go first. Indeed, obviously, I know after before WrestleMania Rumble uses a pay-per-view called Fastlane. If I'm correct, gentlemen, am I correct?
Yeah,
correct.
Thank you. I am correct. So Roman will win the title at the Rumble. Then the Raw afterwards, he'll be like, Nick Aldis screwed me and did all this to me, and he's an unfit GM. SmackDown afterwards, Nick Aldis will go, I'm an unfair GM. I tried to make fair in it for the whole brand. This leads into a feud. Fastlane, Nick Aldis versus Roman Reigns. After Roman Reigns beats Nick Aldis, Cody Rhodes will come for the save. Then eventually it will build for Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. That's how we introduce Cody back into Roman's life cycle and proceed there to Mania. I think that's the perfect way to go. Nick and Cody got hit the history with the old NWA, and they're a very fun organization, as we know, gentlemen. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not forget it. They have that match at the first All Out, right? Then they fight.
All in, correct. It was
All in,
Cody
sorry,
Rhodes
all in.
Cody Rhodes, Nick Aldis for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship, which Cody beat Nick for, and then Nick beat Cody for and went on a 1,000-day reign. So
Yeah.
Nick Aldis knows about long title reigns.
He could wrestle. He could wrestle. Let's not get it. I know we see him in the WWE as an authority figure. That man can still wrestle.
He's going to wrestle. I don't mean to cut you off, Shadi, but I do believe that what's going to happen after Royal Rumble is Roman's going to ensue that he was screwed over by management, and which is Nick Aldis. Then Nick Aldis and Roman are going to go get into it, possibly at the next pay-per-view, to be honest with you, after not Mania, but the next pay-per-view after Rumble. And I don't think that they're going to get physical yet. I think that he's going to go ahead and introduce The Rock. The Rock is then going to go ahead and be that feud against Roman. And then after Mania, we might see a Nick Aldis come into the picture, and then Cody Rhodes come into the picture. I'm on the same boat with you, Soul.
Man, that would be something. So, speaking of you, I gotta ask, how did you feel about the contract signing yesterday?
Well, I will say I was absolutely fine. No problems with it. Very simple and delicate. It's the best way to things to go around in this business. Nick Aldis, I think, as a GM, is probably the most influential GM either since the Authority or Eric Bischoff back in the day. The man has got it down to a T. He ain't taking any of that tribal chief stuff. He's getting to the point. Heck, the fact that he possibly was like, Roman doesn't want to sign it, it's vacated. Royal Rumble, triple threat for the vacant championship. And you just see Paul Heyman like, oh, damn, I'm going to lose a paycheck over this. But suffice, everything was sorted out. That's what I love to see. Here's the problem, though, I have with this. Going into the Rumble, we know what's going to happen. AJ Styles will get thrown out to the ring. He'll be on the floor. RKO to LA Knight. 1, 2. Ref gets pulled out by Paul Heyman. Everyone's like, oh no. Randy stands up, goes back to the back of the ring. Samoan Spike from Solo goes down. Roman enters, spears LA Knight, throws LA Knight out. 1, 2, 3. Oh my God, I'm surprised. It's another Roman Reigns interference win. Splendid. I love 6 more months of this stuff. Yeah, I've seen it too many times. Come on now. I mean, I know Roman Reigns did the old joke to John Cena during SummerSlam with a reference to an act, but I think, Roman, you're throwing that act right now, son. You're getting a bit bland and repetitive with your whole formulating episode. So let's spice it up, man. Come on. Things need to change around here. But yeah, contract signing. Solid.
I don't disagree with you on that. We'll definitely. It would nice to see a little swerve happen going into this Roman Reigns title match, heading into the Rumble. But knowing that we have Mania on the horizon and he's been the champion for like million plus years at this moment. Who knows, man? But before we get to the next topic, salutes to the comments section on YouTube as well. My man B Squared, Bobby Petito saying hello, guys. What's going on, Bobby? Nice to see you over here. He also had to show some love to Nick Aldis, saying he is doing a great job on SmackDown. We agree, man. Nick Aldis has definitely been a high point going on SmackDown right now. I think he's knocking his job out the park. Great signing by WWE bringing him over there. The guy who's supposed to be hosting, but I got to do his job today, Mr. Clark Taylor. Master, shout out to y'all. Appreciate the day off. You're the man, shot. Brother, you are the man. We appreciate you. And then
Repping for
Bobby
the
saying,
Turtles.
yeah, he is he's Master Splinter over here, man, getting these turtles to go to work. Uh, but on to the next topic, man. We had a very fun opening match going on. LWO versus LWO. But one is Legato World Order. Cruz del Toro and Joaquin Wild. Not tag team match. I'm sorry, a 6-man match. Cruz del Toro, Joaquin Wild, and I spit in the face of those who aren't cool. Carlito versus LWO Legato World Order, Santos Escobar, the man, the myth, the legend, and Humberto and Angel Garza. I got to say one thing before I hop to my man Brett on this topic. I really like Legato World Order with Angel and Umberto. I don't know what it is. Like, it's not anything wrong with Joaquin Wild or Cruz del Toro. I think they're phenomenal wrestlers. But I feel if we're talking about a heel faction, it works a little bit better with these two guys. They have a distinct look that makes it mesh better. Um, they just look like stars right now, man. And I enjoyed the match. I thought it was a fun match. Joaquin Wild continues to amaze me from the athletic standpoint of what he does. This dude is like a human, like spring, man. He jumps from all. I need to see him on a dunk contest, right? He need to go against like Vince Carter right now. Like, dude is really talented. Fun match overall, but I gotta ask Brett, what do you think about it in regards to the match and just what's going on with this feud? What do you think is gonna happen?
Well, you kind of stole my thunder with the LWO going heel. So I'm going to have to go ahead and say it again. I think that LWO, Legado del Fantasma, or Legado World Order should be heel. I think that since their history, who started LWO? It was Eddie Guerrero and his band of crew in WCW. And they've always been heel. And it's because they've been different and they've never gotten what they've deserved. And I think that we need to kind of step back into that gimmick. I would love that, to be honest with you, for all of them to be on the same page and be heel. But at the same time, the match last night was really physical, really great. Like you said, Joaquin Wild can literally jump from ring post to ring post. I don't know how this man does it, but they're all very physical. I just don't like to see luchadors versus luchadors too much in WWE, and I feel like that's what we've been getting a lot of in the past. I want to see them all band together and just take out people that are not other luchadors. I want to see a different style of wrestling rather than the weekly luchador match that we have on SmackDown.
Nah, I don't disagree with you on that. Y'all play WWE 2K, man. It's them things when you on GM mode and they give you the blueprint of what styles mesh together. And if you put a luchador versus a luchador, you get like a 2.5 rating on it, right? Why isn't WWE following their blueprint on that? I don't understand that, man. But
I mean,
I
who knows? Who knows, Shad? With 2K24, maybe it'll be Triple H rules. He'd be like, "Oh my God, Iron Man match, Metallica's the theme, and all that, and skulls. Oh my God, have you put on a skulls times 10 multiplier? 6-star match, 6-star match. You have done it. You have perfected the absolute receipt for a Triple H match."
Oh my goodness, that may be the case, man. In regards to this match, my man Bobby saying Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo and Santos are great. We definitely agree with that, man. Santos is a star, man. Like, I don't know what else to say. Like, that guy, like, just brings the presence of being a star, and I think he does phenomenal work on just that standpoint, but also on an in-ring standpoint. Like, the dude is a hell of a competitor, man. He definitely is nothing short of being a total package in regards to what they have. Bobby also says, I could see Elektra Lopez joining Santos's group on SmackDown. Interesting. We do know that Elektra Lopez was the manager for Legado on NXT, and I will say there was something that did happen this past Tuesday. If you don't watch NXT, like my man over there, Soul doesn't watch NXT, watch off the air because we did talk about it. Elektra Lopez and Lola Vice have been a tag team, and it looks like there's a little bit of friction. Does that mean for a potential call up? Maybe. That'd be cool. Elektra Lopez versus Alina Vega. I want to be opposed to that. It definitely would be interesting. But on to the next topic, man. This was the thing that had Twitter going crazy. This is the thing that had the streets happy because we've been missing this young man. Um, we had a great tag team match set up, pretty deadly. Elton Prince, Kip, these guys are ready to fight the Brawling Brutes or British Strong Style, whatever they want to call them. But they were ready to fight that strong boy and Butch. That strong boy, Tyler Bate, did not play fair. He brought back someone from the attic where Vince McMahon put all the good stuff at and brought all that junk into the house. Triple H went to the attic and he brought back that dude, the bruiserweight, Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne is back. He's got his name back. Hallelujah. Thank you, Lord. We are happy to see this happen. Oh man, I got my man so hyped for this, man. Yeah, so I'm gonna just let you get into it, bro. How do you feel about the return of Pete Dunne? Let's talk about that first, and then the tag team match itself.
I like to imagine that Tyler Bate went to Triple H and was like, bruv, I need to find my boy's name. Where's his name? Where's his name? Triple H just gave him a key, went to the attic, and there was like, Mae Young's hand child was in there, European title was in there, maybe the hardcore title just for the old laughs as well. Heck, maybe even a bit of Velocity was in there as well. And there was just a nameplate that said Pete Dunne. Like, there we go. He's back in order. Bring the boy back. So I think having Pete Dunne back is exceptional because this is the best version of him. Go back to NXT UK when he was the UK champion, had that feud and took it off Bate, then transitioned to obviously previously Walter, who is now Gunther. And it's just great to see. But obviously the match in itself, fine. We saw it last week. Hopefully not again. I don't want a repetition cycle here. Is this just going to be the filler card for every SmackDown where we have the UK representation? Who knows? Maybe next will be the Brexit representation next, and we're going to get into some really funky stuff there. Let's avoid that. But something I think should come out with this, and something down the line as well that I really want to see. Mania have Gunther against Brock just for the lulz, or heck, almost if you want to be really funny. Then Backlash in France is Gunther versus Tyler Bate for the Intercontinental Championship. Gunther wins. Start stomping on Bate. This goes back to NXT UK takeover in Cardiff. Pete Dunne comes out and saves him. We then build to a feud at Bash at Berlin, which is this, I think personally, should be the main event. Pete Dunne lost his championship to Walter. He beat Tyler Bate for the UK, Yes, he beat Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne beat Tyler Bate for the UK Championship. Shows that he can beat Bate, but can't beat Gunther. Gunther beats Bate. I think there's a story there to tell. So I honestly think Pete Dunne should be the one to dethrone Gunther and take his Intercontinental Championship. That's how you build somebody up who's got history, have excellent history in NXT UK, and Pete Dunne is Intercontinental Championship. I would love to see it. The bruiserweight with a title in his mouth again and doing the whole that with the title hanging down. That's an image you want to see. So, yeah, I honestly think this hopefully could lead to something great. I mean, who am I kidding? This will probably just lead to Pete Dunne stuck in catering again
Don't
for
say
6 months.
that. Don't say that.
I'm
I
saying it
like
because it's going to happen.
I like your idea about that. I've been one that has been speaking about and beating the drum of a Mr. Tommaso Ciampa, who I think would have been a viable contender to get the title off of Gunther. And I don't disagree with you. I feel the novelty of Gunther's reign and dominance is when someone beats them, they kind of move up the chains, you jump a peg in regards to what you do. And who that is, a lot of people wanted Chad Gable to be that person. I don't think Chad Gable feels as hot of a commodity at this point. I feel Alpha Academy has kind of looked a little stale. But a Pete Dunne, a revived Pete Dunne, knowing the history of that, and just, I mean, he's really that dude, man. Like he's got the it factor to be a dominant, strong mid card title for him. I would not be opposed to that. We got some comments in regards to that. My man Bobby saying, I still miss Trent Seven and with Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. As we do, man, as we all do. Trent Seven, someone that has been doing good stuff. I know that he was supposed to be on the TNA card last week. Not sure why it didn't happen and whatnot, but we hope the best for him.
I mean, the thing is, with Trent Seven, he's killing it here in the UK in itself, and I honestly would implore fans to check that out. He's done stuff down in England with Rise, which is a deathmatch promotion. He was in the Rumble, OTT over in Northern Ireland. He's done stuff great there for us. So honestly, with the TNA thing as well, Trent's still killing it and an integral part of the UK scene. So don't worry, fans. The mustache man is making rounds everywhere he goes.
Yeah, he's gonna be in a good place, and whether he does come back to WWE at some point, the door is never closed when you think about it. So, but salute to him. Salute to these guys also, man. This next segment, we got to talk about the best show on WWE at all the talk shows, and that's the KO show. My man Kevin Owens had the KO show, and he had a special guest, Mr. Prime, not Prime Time because that's Deion Sanders, but Mr. Prime himself, Logan Paul. They had a little segment. They had a little bit of a banter. They have a match going into Royal Rumble. It was solid for the most part. I'm not gonna lie to you. I like Logan Paul as a in ring character. I think he's actually pretty good, and I know that's kind of alarming for a lot of people, including my man over here, who might not agree with me
Well,
on
look,
that.
look. All I'm saying is, Brett, take the handle. Wake me up when it's my segment. I'm going to sleep. I'm on, man.
But I don't really like him as much as a talking character because he comes off maybe too much like himself, and maybe that's the novelty, and maybe I'm just not super heavy on the character, but it was a cool talking segment. You know, KO got hit. I don't like seeing that. We've been going on this whole storyline. Brett, break it down for us, man. Let me know what you think.
I think that Logan Paul is just Logan Paul. I don't think he's anything more special than that. I don't think he's anything less than that. I just think he's Logan Paul. We're getting exactly what we're being presented or we've asked for, or some fans have asked for. I certainly have not. But I believe that the heel role rather than a face role for Logan Paul is much better. And like you said, Shad, I don't mind his in-ring work. I don't. On mic skills needs to get a little better because it's coming off like a little like privileged young like kid in a sense, like immaturity. But I guess that's his gimmick because that's what he's been all along. Now, getting into the KO show. Okay, this show was not very publicized. It just kind of ran right into it when it came to television and on-screen factor. And then Logan Paul just came out while Kevin Owens was talking, obviously. And yes, his right hand was the factor because of the brace or whatever the brace that was on his hand from last week, I guess, from breaking it a few weeks prior or fracturing something. And they were trying to make that a factor. I just think Kevin Owens is always in this matchup specifically. I think Kevin Owens is always going to be the top competitor here. I think he's always going to be the better on mic and in ring character. Yeah, it's probably to help boost Logan Paul's ratings across a bunch of publications, platforms, and fans and audiences to help bring him up, because Kevin Owens does like to do that with younger talent that he believes in. But at the same time, I just can't see Logan Paul going over in this match. Yeah, he does have the title, and yes, I do believe he's going to win some type of dirty way, whether it means bring his younger brother in to disqualify the match or doing something along those lines. But I just think that, unfortunately, Logan's going to retain, and they're going to do something dirty to KO next week.
Mr. Jake Paul being added into the WWE universe to help his brother. I don't know if I like that or if I dislike it. But I could see it happening. I don't think you're wrong on that point. Man, Kevin Owens is, I do agree with the point that you said. He is a one guy that is able to kind of put people in position and create something for it. I think it's one of those points. I just want to see him get the title off of Logan, and I don't really see I don't know. I don't, just because maybe it's the fact that Logan isn't there every week. It kind of gets a little stale for me. Not entirely sure, but
Yeah.
well, we'll see. I'm sure they're gonna have a fun match. Hopefully KO stuns
With
him like
the
50 times.
Intercontinental and the USA title, I like them to be fighting champions, to be completely honest with you. And I believe everyone else agrees, because when we tune into a weekly episode and we don't see that title defended or in the conversation, it gets a little boring or they become obsolete. So
For sure. No, I definitely agree. We got some comments on that segment. Bobby saying Kevin Owens is great. I agree with that, man. KO is one of my favorite wrestlers in professional wrestling. He also said maybe Grayson Waller and Austin Theory help. Bobby.
that's not a bad idea. He's not too far off on that, because they're both trying to be like social media gurus type of people. So
it might happen, but I guess we'll see. They kind of all three of them are in the same realm. And then number one Superfly says if Jake Paul does appear, have WWE give him a 2-minute entrance where he flexes or something. I guess, man. I guess Jake Paul, it might be the more notable one out of those two. I'm not into the whole. It's a little past my prime. I'm an old man. I don't really watch the Paul brothers YouTube, so I don't know who's more popular. The only reason I know them is because
we actually have an intellect. We have an intellect, Chad, so we don't watch the Logan Pauls stuff. We actually have an IQ.
That's very true. The only thing I watch on YouTube is Wrestling Republic.
I don't watch Logan Paul stuff nor Jake Paul stuff, but I did hear Logan Paul say this past year that he is transitioning to be a full-time wrestler, and rather than a boxer. So I can't see Jake not following in the same footsteps, but just because of the work that needs to be put into it, I feel like they don't need to put as much work as they're putting into boxing as they would need to into wrestling.
Jake, box a real boxer one time, get knocked out, and then you'll probably come to WWE. That's.
I was like, oh my god, it's real. Oh, I'm scared. I'm shivering my boots.
So that's what Phil. Anyways, let's get to the next topic. We had a title match last night. You may not believe that because it wasn't a very long match. The renowned tag team women's titles on the WWE roster were defended yesterday. Katana and Kaden, they are the girls who are partying a lot, but they still got that time to get into the ring and have that same energy. Sleep don't matter for them. They went against the girls who probably have come from the dead, the unholy union. And I will say this before I pass it to Soul. I do like the unholy union's entrance. I thought it was pretty cool. And part of me thought they were going to win just because they had a lot cooler entrance. But boy, was I wrong. So break this match down for us, man. What you think about it? And kind of just break down the women's tag division for us for a bit.
Christ, you want me to piss people off that much, do you? I'll say this as well, gentlemen. I want you to guess. I look at WWE's Instagram account, and I looked at the amount of posts he did from that episode of SmackDown. How many were about the women's tag? Brett, how many do you want to guess?
0.
Shad, what about you? How many do you want to guess?
0, unfortunately.
Ding, ding, ding. You both have a smart IQ. 0, nothing, nada, zilch, nothing. It's like Scottish independence. Doesn't exist. There's nothing of it. Nothing was spread about this match. So clearly WWE didn't care. So what do we do with it? That's the simple question. But I'll get on to the Unholy Union first. Coke, MK Ultra, the Unholy Union, Pepsi. That's what I'm getting from this. I like MK Ultra. I find them very entertaining, and it's really a shame with Isla Dawn, former Kaylee Ray, NXT Women's Champion, ICW absolute hardcore beast, could do anything, and now relegated to this. It's a bloody shame. It's an absolute bloody shame. I mean, I feel like Kaylee Ray should have been able to do more, honestly. But the women's tag themselves. They're pretty. They're pretty belts. That's it, though. Like, what else can I really say about this? When WWE don't put the effort in to advertise it, give it the showtime that it really deserves, why should I, as a viewer, really care about it? I mean, how many women tag team wrestling or tag teams can you even put on a finger? Like, I know there's Piper Niven and Chelsea, Unholy Union, Kitchana and Kaden. I mean, apparently Tegan Knox and Candice, Johnny Gargano's wife's a tag team, but I feel like I've never seen her on TV at all. I know there's tons in NXT. They introduced the NXT Women's Tag Team Championship and they got binned faster than the 24/7 Championship. So what's the point in caring? Now, people are obviously going to go at me, well, you are the All Elite fanboy, so you really be like, oh, yes, AEW should introduce them. No. God, no. Hell no. The only companies that have these WWE, NWA, and TNA, Women Tag Team Wrestling's championships, they don't thrive well. So here's what I suggest, and this is something that's going to really annoy some people. I think even Mr. Carty Carnett is going to hate this take as well. I think tag team wrestling championships in the major companies should be intergender. I think anyone should be able to take these championships. Yep, you could have someone like Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler defeat DIY for the championships. You could have somebody like the Unholy Union defeat the Usos for these championships. I feel like tag team wrestling shouldn't have a limitation on it. I feel like it should be an open field. Anyone could form a team and possibly win and run with those championships. Now, is that going to make things too unrealistic? Well, let's look at the guy we followed for 30 years who was apparently an Undertaker, an undead man who shot lightning from his fingers. Yeah, cool. Aye, sure, that's realistic. But what's unrealistic is Nia Jax maybe putting Johnny Gargano through a table and winning a championship off him. Good idea, wrestling fans. I'm really a fan of
that. Oh man, I will say I don't really know what the status is for this women's tag division as well. I don't disagree with you. I know that people have flirted with the idea of maybe having a women's mid-card title rather than it, but WWE does a bad job because they just make a bunch of mismatched tag teams. Obviously, next week, Kaden and Katana are not a mismatched tag team, and they will be going against the Kabuki Warriors, which in theory is not a mismatched tag team, but how they were built was kind of a mismatched tag team. I don't know if Asuka and Kyrie had any history together at Stardom. I know Io and Kyrie did, but you know, it is what it is. They are more of a renowned tag team. They've had the titles prior to it. It should be fun. But let's get a couple comments in before we get to the main event. First and foremost, we got Bobby saying that he does like Isla Dawn and Alba Fire. To your point, Kaylee Ray was like that. She was her in NXT UK as a women's champion. She was super dominant. Like people forget about that. She was kind of like the women's Gunther in a like she had the title for a while. So
but
that
to Soul's point, she was also Extreme Wrestler as well. So I do think that we could see almost the same linear path as a Jon Moxley.
What I'll say here as well, if people want to see Isla Dawn, Kaylee Ray at her, Alba Fire and Kaylee Ray at her most extreme, there is a match at ICW Insane Champion Wrestling in Scotland with her and Piper Niven. Where there was like 20,000 thumbtacks in a ring, and she got powerbombed into it. So like she has got that extreme element to her. And honestly, if I was like the fan and I could book what happens to her, I would WWE and immediately into TNA and a feud with Master Slamovich. That is something I want to see.
That'd be fun.
That would be fun.
My boy Seif in here saying, "Let's go, Shotty. Salute to you, brother." Bobby also said, "I'd like to see Katana Chance and Cater on NXT against versus Kiana and Izzy Dame. That could be fun. I mean, there are women's tags in NXT, so if they are, rotating it, why not?" And then we got Numero saying Asuka and Kyrie are winning the tag team titles soon, which would tie with Bailey eventually being kicked out. The main thing being Damage Control celebrates, and they all look at Bailey. Fortunately, that is kind of it, and that's kind of my grip with SmackDown's women's division because the best women besides like Charlotte and Bianca are all in one faction, and that's kind of it. Like they can't fight each other, none of that. It kind of gets a little annoying, but all right, man. Let's get to this main event. And there was two matches. So after the contract signing, we'll start with the first one: AJ Styles and LA Knight. These two gentlemen are fighting each other, obviously at Royal Rumble, and they are butting heads. And they went to Mr. Nick Aldis. They said, "I want to fight." They had a match and the predictable could happen. Mr. Solo Sokoa, who was scheduled for the main event, came out and did the job that he told Roman he would do. He was going to take out the problem, and that's the three competitors. Takes him out. We then get him to calling out Randy Orton, and they have their main event match. A lot goes on there, and I won't get all into it because I'm going to first and foremost pass it off to Brett. Break the main event part of it down and kind of just how you feel about it all in totality.
Super predictable, unfortunately. I love Randy Orton, obviously, and I want him to be the integral feature on SmackDown if he's going to be on SmackDown. But I do understand we have an AJ Styles and LA Knight and Roman Reigns as well as others there as well. So this main event was to really show who is really kind of dialed in on the title, in my opinion. I think that when LA Knight and AJ Styles went to Nick Aldis's office to request a match, that's them dialed in on each other. Now Orton is just standing back, kind of letting that happen as he's staying dialed in on Roman. So it was a great physical match. I just don't like the ending, obviously, but it's leading to what's going to happen at Rumble. But the end result at Rumble is going to be Roman winning, unfortunately. So it really doesn't matter at this point. They're just trying to mix it up. But I do like what they're doing with Orton, how he's tunnel vision on the title and how AJ and LA are kind of all over the place and more focused on each other than the title itself.
I don't disagree with you on that. And to your point, man, this was a great comment by numero one Superfly. Realizing that SmackDown last night felt too formulaic for Roman. Roman Spears backstage arguing with the group, appears for a spear, stands tall. It did feel formulaic, and that was kind of a little bit of an issue that I had with yesterday's episode because the entire show, as it does for a lot of time when he's on the show, it spun around for him. When we have other marquee matches, other marquee feuds that deserve time to get built up as well. The one thing I did like a lot, I did like Randy Orton coming up with this RKO, being able to RKO everyone throughout yesterday. Even RKO and Roman last night. I thought it does make Randy do seem like more of a viable threat for Roman going into the Rumble. And, it gives the fans hope maybe that he could potentially beat Roman. We'll have to wait and see. But so, what did you think about the last two matches with AJ and LA Knight, as well as Solo and Randy, and just all the chaos that occurred with it?
Oh, Jesus. I mean, just felt very formulaic and just like hitting the beats and doing what they could do. I mean, honestly, like I feel like if let's say Styles actually beat LA Knight, that would have done like a little bit of like, oh, LA Knight's the weakest dog going into this fight. Can he actually prevail and get the win? And then you could do a spot in the Royal Rumble match where LA Knight cleans house, and that maybe shows a bit of perseverance. But at the end of the day, I mean, I don't take the Bloodline seriously anymore. I think Jimmy Uso is a joke. I think Solo's becoming a joke. And Roman, I've always just think has just held this way too long. That's why I think in modern day you don't see 3 year long title reigns. It's because everyone's very on the ball with what's going on. People can follow on socials. People can see house show results. People can see who's going to appear on TV, who's not. When the days of Bruno Sammartino and holding it for 7 and 8 plus years, wrestling was very sporadic. You'd only get maybe 4 or 6 shows a year, very limited, but they would still be very dominant champions. And that's because people would have to travel to see the people they want to see. Nowadays, we can just be on social media, and as well with the old dirt sheets, fake reporters, as I like to call them, you can see where things are going within the business and what's coming up for the next again shows. So I feel like with Roman Reigns, he should have lost this ages ago. Ages ago. He should have lost this either to 3 people he should have lost this to. Sami Zayn, Cody Rhodes, or Jey Uso. Should have lost it to them, in my humble opinion. I think with the way things are going now, if he does not lose this at Mania, this is like, I would like to say with Roman's title reign, I describe it like Grey's Anatomy. A great show that started off very well, had a few hot periods, and then kept going because it just makes money, and it's pointless. So yeah, Roman Reigns is Grey's Anatomy. Did anyone think that analogy was going to be made in 2024? I don't think so, but it's on your bingo card now, gentlemen. Enjoy that image.
Oh man, that is funny. Uh, to your point, I will say this, and I think it is one of these situations that I do agree with you on that, and I feel like if we're really chasing this title reign to just be off of numbers, I think that is a mistake. I think we have been robbed of moments. To your point, Sami Zayn, Elimination Chamber, beautiful moment, man. He felt like in the superhero. We were so invested with the entire storyline. That's a triumphant good guy getting his moment versus the villain. Jey Uso, all that Roman has done to him throughout the embodiment of the start of this bloodline feud to where it was, that could have been an incredible moment. And of course, last WrestleMania with Cody Rhodes finishing his story. These are all missed opportunities. And to your point, it's become dry. It's become stale. And what else can we do? Is this a point where if he doesn't to lose it, and it has to be to Cody at this point, to be honest with you, because Cody's the only person with a storyline that is kind of been left on an ongoing way that it can make a comeuppance and feel important. If it's not him at Mania, I don't know what we're gonna do. It may have to be a new person or build a new storyline of importance on it. So I'm a little weary. I wouldn't mind him losing to Randy at the Rumble, but I mean, Brett, you say you got a quick point to make. What you gotta say, bro?
The one thing WWE has been lacking on the past few years, even maybe over the past decade, is long-term storytelling. This is something that has been needed, that diehard fans are urging for, in a sense. This is something that they've been missing out on, that they're now hitting the mark on, in my opinion. This does not have to be at this WrestleMania, and unfortunately, I do see Roman having the title up until next WrestleMania when the story is completed, like you said, Shadi, against Cody Rhodes. Then the story will be finished. But I do think that they are trying to do long-term storytelling right now.
Mm-hmm.
They're just feeling it out.
What the problem I have with that though is Roman's held this belt for so long, and it's like, see if the Cody Rhodes thing started within a year of his title reign. That's fine. I would happily do a Mania trilogy because that's fine. But Roman's held the belt for a fair bit before Cody was even introduced to the WWE. And if we just keep going on for the sake of going on, we've just seen with Seth, one bad match can just throw everything away. Everything could be squandered and thrown to the sidelines. Now, yes, absolutely, that's a risk you got to take. This is a very engaging sport that we all love. So I'm just saying, sometimes you got to strike where the iron's hot, because that iron could break and just mess up your entire plans.
Agreed.
Nah, I definitely agree with you guys on that too, man. But I mean, we got a couple comments on there. New World One Superfly saying he definitely agrees. Roman needs to drop the title soon. Someone in the Instagram comments, Dark King Beast, is saying that he would like to see Roman versus Nick Aldis at Backlash. So we'll have to wait and see, man. But that's all the time we got, guys. I appreciate you too, man. This has been a monumental episode. You hopefully you get to see us three kind of run it like that again, man. But salute to you guys, man. We'll be back same time tomorrow. All I know is 3 p.m. Eastern time. I don't do the math for the other time zones. Y'all can Google
It's
it.
down there in the bottom, fella. It's in the
Oh,
banner.
live every single
Look up your
day.
glasses and you might see, man. Come on. Use them eyes.
8 UK, 3 Eastern, 12 Pacific time. All that matters is the East Side, baby.
Oh.
I appreciate you guys, man. Great episode. And yeah, man, like, comment, subscribe. Keep rocking with us. Follow us on Instagram, Twitch, all of that, man. Y'all have a good one, and we'll see y'all tomorrow.